There's two niggas I felt like backdooring me. I swear to God. And I never swear. See, I just did some shit I won't really never do. Lil Baby and that nigga Tyler. Tyler for sure. For sure. And I'm gonna show you how niggas is kind of whatever. This nigga, baby, if you want to fight, nigga, I still get in with you. What's poppin'? Because I ain't gonna lie, the disrespect that I'm about to go up off of this nigga, I don't know him. But nigga, I control this rap game,
See, that's,
nigga.
Hey, that's
I control this rap game.
I control this rap game. When are these streamers going to learn that real-life consequences come with all the reckless talk they do online? Unfortunately for DJ Akademiks, he allegedly found that out yesterday after a situation many are linking to Lil Baby. According to reports circulating online, Akademiks was confronted in a way nobody saw coming, and the strategy used to bypass his security has people stunned. But before we get into how this supposedly went down, we need to break down why Lil Baby would even be connected to something like this, what really sparked attention, and how it exposes the darker side of the music industry that rarely gets discussed. Before diving into the chaos, it's important to understand who DJ Akademiks really is and why this moment goes way deeper than a simple confrontation. This is a man who built a media empire from behind computers, screen streaming nightly, drinking on camera, and saying some of the most disrespectful, unfiltered things imaginable about rappers. What separates Akademiks from other bloggers, though, is power. Real power. He isn't some random YouTuber chasing clicks. He's one of the biggest voices in hip-hop media. When Akademiks speaks, the culture listens. His platform reaches millions daily, and his opinions have been known to impact album sales, streaming numbers, and public perception in real time. But somewhere along the way, Akademiks allegedly started believing he was untouchable, that as long as he stayed behind a screen and surrounded himself with security, he could say whatever he wanted without consequences spilling into the real world. Well, reality caught up fast, and the way it allegedly happened looks like one of the most calculated moments of retaliation hip-hop has seen in a long time. But to really understand why things escalated the way they did, you have to go back to where this tension started, because it runs much deeper than most people realize. Back in 2020, Lil Baby was unquestionably at the top of the game. No debate. He was dropping hit after hit, dominating charts, earning Grammy nominations, and collaborating with the biggest names in music. His songs were everywhere, crossing generations and soundtracking the culture. Around that time, DJ Akademiks, being the observant media figure, he has started pointing out something fans were too caught up in the hype to notice. And at first, it wasn't even framed as hate. Akademiks was essentially saying that Baby had already reached the mountaintop. The money, the cars, the jewelry, the success, and that the hunger he once had didn't seem the same. When you compare Lil Baby's output after that historic run to his 2020 stretch, there's a noticeable shift in urgency and raw energy, something that happens to many artists once they achieve massive success. The issue was how that critique evolved. What started as observation turned into a narrative. Akademiks began repeatedly pushing the idea that Lil Baby had fallen off, that his best days were behind him. And when someone with Akademiks' reach pushes a storyline like that, it doesn't stay confined to one platform, it spreads across the entire hip-hop ecosystem. Other bloggers picked it up. Fans started questioning Baby's relevance, and soon that narrative became the dominant conversation surrounding his career. That's the real power controlling the media narrative. When one opinion is pushed consistently enough, it can become perceived reality. And that's exactly what happened when Akademiks relentlessly criticized Lil Baby's Wham album, calling it mid from the moment it was announced and never letting up. Before diving into the chaos, it's important to understand who DJ Akademiks really is and why this moment goes way deeper than a simple confrontation. This is a man who built a media empire from behind a computer screen, streaming nightly, drinking on camera, and saying some of the most disrespectful, unfiltered things imaginable about rappers. What separates Akademiks from other bloggers, though, is power. Real power. He isn't some random YouTuber chasing clicks. He's one of the biggest voices in hip-hop media. When Akademiks speaks, the culture listens. His platform reaches millions daily, and his opinions have been known to impact album sales, streaming numbers, and public perception in real time. But somewhere along the way, Akademiks allegedly started believing he was untouchable, that as long as he stayed behind a screen and surrounded himself with security, he could say whatever he wanted without consequences spilling into the real world. He kept comparing the project to Baby's earlier, more successful work, constantly questioning whether that hunger and creativity was still there. And then the album underperformed commercially. It's hard to ignore the role Akademiks' non-stop criticism may have played, shaping public perception before fans even press play. That's real power, their ability to influence how millions view an artist's work before they experience it for themselves. But Lil Baby wasn't about to just sit back and absorb the disrespect. He started firing back, and once rappers begin addressing bloggers directly in their music, you know things have escalated. Baby dropped lines taking clear shots at Akademiks, making it obvious the criticism wasn't just noisy, it was something affecting him personally and professionally. These weren't throwaway bars either. Entire verses were aimed at the issue, signaling real tension. Then the story took an unexpected turn. Rod Wave, respected by both sides and known for staying neutral, stepped in to de-escalate the situation before it spiraled further. Using his relationships with both men, Rod Wave arranged a three-way phone call where everything was put on the table. According to those involved, they talked it out, exchanged numbers, and agreed to handle any future issues privately instead of publicly. It seemed like a rare moment of maturity in an industry built on conflict. Akademiks could keep doing his job without clashing with one of the biggest artists in the game, and Lil Baby could focus on his music without constant negative narratives hanging over his career. Baby and his team clearly understood just how influential Akademiks' platform really is. Before diving into the chaos, it's important to understand who DJ Akademiks really is and why this moment goes way deeper than a simple confrontation. This is a man who built a media empire from behind a computer screen, streaming nightly, drinking on camera, and saying some of the most disrespectful, unfiltered things imaginable about rappers. What separates Akademiks from other bloggers, though, is power. Real power. He isn't some random YouTuber chasing clicks. He's one of the biggest voices in hip-hop media. When Akademiks speaks, the culture listens. His platform reaches millions daily, and his opinions have been known to impact album sales, streaming numbers, and public perception in real time. But somewhere along the way, Akademiks allegedly started believing he was untouchable, that as long as he stayed behind a screen and surrounded himself with security, he could say whatever he wanted without consequences spilling into the real world. So when Baby started gearing up to release his next major project, something surprising allegedly happened. Reports claim he paid DJ Akademiks $30,000 to ensure the coverage around the album wouldn't be overly critical. For a moment, it looked like everything between them was smooth. But that calm didn't last. What came next is being described as one of the most calculated, backdoor moves hip-hop has seen in a long time, strategic, deliberate, and planned down to the smallest detail. The setting was a brand risk event in March 2025, and that part matters, because this wasn't some random run-in. Akademiks was there doing his job, covering the event, surrounded by security, feeling safe in what was supposed to be a controlled,
What is Ty Lil pulling up on me to argue about? Ak, you never tagged me in 2020. We're in 2025. UC Aiden.
He ain't.
We dap it up.
Hey, Ty Lil.
I know. I'm like, I can try to platform.
It's alright. I got you. Come.
He's mad passionate 5 years later.
It might sound like a small issue, but for content creators trying to build their brands, proper credit can be the difference between staying invisible and finally breaking through. So Tylo confronted Akademiks about it, and the two actually sat down and had a real conversation. Akademiks, being far more measured in person than he is online, listened to Tylo's concerns, acknowledged that he probably should have given proper credit, and took responsibility for it. By the end of the exchange, they swapped phone numbers and appeared to squash the issue entirely, with no lingering tension, or so it seemed at the time. Before diving into the chaos, it's important to understand who DJ Akademiks really is and why this moment goes way deeper than a simple confrontation. This is a man who built a media empire from behind a computer screen, streaming nightly, drinking on camera, and saying some of the most disrespectful, unfiltered things imaginable about rappers. What separates Akademiks from other bloggers, though, is power. Real power. He isn't some random YouTuber chasing clicks. He's one of the biggest voices in hip-hop media. When Akademiks speaks, the culture listens. His platform reaches millions daily, and his opinions have been known to impact album sales, streaming numbers, and public perception in real time. But somewhere along the way, Akademiks allegedly started believing he was untouchable, that as long as he stayed behind a screen and surrounded himself with security, he could say whatever he wanted without consequences spilling into the real world.
He's constantly saying, why you ain't tagged me? He's talking about some shit in 2020. Yo, Aiden says, yo, why you bringing this shit up? And I'm trying to tell him, yo, Tyler, you made it, bro, relax. But he keeps saying it, and I'm like, it's all good, whatever. What we do at the end of this, and this is important, me and Tyler will exchange numbers. We exchange numbers. This is gonna mean the utmost chat when I get to the end of the story.
That interaction turned out to be critical because it positioned Tylo as someone with legitimate business, with Akademiks a familiar face security would view as a fellow content creator, not a threat. And that gave Cree the perfect cover. Tylo was able to pass all 8 of Akademiks security guards without resistance, recognized and cleared as someone who belonged there. He walked straight up to Akademiks' car window and started what looked like a friendly, normal conversation, making Akademiks believe everything was fine, just standard industry networking. Here's where it gets wild. While Tylo kept Akademiks comfortable and distracted, Cree followed closely behind. Seeing Cree with Tylo, security made the natural assumption that he was good too. No one questioned it. Tylo's presence silently vouched for him. Feeling completely at ease, Akademiks rolled his window all the way down, likely expecting nothing more than a quick exchange. Then, in what appeared to be a coordinated move, Tylo suddenly stepped away from the car. That's when Cree stepped in, allegedly striking Akademiks through the open window with a right hand slap before immediately taking off.
Remember, he swings, misses, because I was kind of like this. He swings into the car, misses, like he hits the shit. They drive off. I'm like, what the f? It's only one nigga. I'm like, bro.
He said something. I swear to God, right hand of God. I smacked the shot out of you. I smacked the shot out of him. Right hand of God, bro. I smacked the shot out of him.
You smack Akademiks.
Yes, and then listen. After I smacked him, listen.
But here's what made Tylo's role look even more questionable. That night, DJ Akademiks reportedly tried calling Tylo over and over around 15 straight calls. No answer. No call back. No text. Nothing to explain what happened or to say he had no idea K. Rich was going to make that move. The silence spoke louder than anything else.
I call Tyler. Yo, Tyler, I'm trying to say, yo, Tyler, what is this? What's up? You try to, I thought we talked, like, you got a problem? Tyler doesn't answer none of my calls.
That's when Akademiks realized he had been completely set up by someone he thought was just another content creator looking to network and resolve old issues. That phone number exchange early in the day wasn't about squashing beef, it was about establishing access that would later be used against him. Later that night, Akademiks' team decided to circle back to the club to see if they could find Cree and get some answers. When they returned, security spotted Cree sitting in a Lamborghini Urus with Tylo, confirming this wasn't random at all. The two were clearly together, and it became obvious the situation had been planned from the start.
Out the car and go see who the nigga who swung at us, who he's with. He calls me, yo, he's in a Lambo with Tyler. I was just in an argument with Tyler at brand risk. He said, you want me to do something? I said, don't do nothing. Come back in the car. He gets back in the car. I said, I'll handle it.
And when DJ Akademiks went live the next day, it was clear he was spiraling. The level of anger and frustration he showed was unlike anything we usually see from him, even considering how emotional his streams can get. He was visibly heated, calling out Lil Baby by name, threatening to expose him, and making it clear he wasn't about to let the situation slide or move on quietly.
Baby, eat a nigga. I'm not even going to address it. Lil Baby, you eat a nigga. Because I don't know this nigga. And I'm going to tell you why I'm getting that Lil Baby. Because I've been waiting for this. I can't take it out on a nigga I don't know. Nigga, I'm up tens of millions of dollars taking it out on this boss. Yo, Lil Baby, if this is what you believe or he believe, both y'all niggas eat a dick, nigga. Whatever y'all think, that's what it is. Both y'all niggas.
And that's where things got even crazier. Akademiks actually called Lil Baby directly to confront him about what had happened. Baby's response came off calm, smooth, and almost too calculated, like he'd already thought it through. He acted completely unaware of what Akademiks was talking about, playing it off as if he had no involvement at all. To Akademiks, it felt like straight gaslighting, like Baby was playing dumb and distancing himself from the entire situation, despite everything that had just unfolded.